Hello and welcome to Iron Dinos. We're back with yet another podcast, and I'm here with Adam.
Yo!
And I'm here with Jason.
Hello!
And we are going to go through the upcoming month's Games of Gold, last month's Games of Gold, any other games we've been playing, anything we've been watching, anything else we've been up to, and whatever else comes to mind. So, Jason, if you wouldn't mind kicking us off, what are May's Games with Gold?
Thank you very much. The games with gold for May 2022 are Yoku's Island Express, The Inner World, The Last Wind Monk, Hydro Thunder Hurricane,
Hey!
and Viva Piñata Party Animals.
Awesome.
Let's start with Yoku's Island Express. What is it? It is a postal pinball platformer. You play Yoku, a dung beetle, who's a postmaster on a luscious tropical island. He makes deliveries and assists the locals by pushing a big ball of something around that he seems to be attached to. And yeah, the world is also like a pinball machine with paddles and bumpers and stuff everywhere, and you control the flippers and you can make yourself go left and right, and you fly around and you have chats with locals and you deliver stuff. Yeah, looks quite fun. Visuals seem charming. I like the bits I've seen so far. I mean, it could be awful, who knows, but as long as it's got a decent story and a bit of variety as it goes along, I can see this being a lot of fun. What about you guys?
I've already played an hour of this, and it is flipping good fun.
Very good, sir.
Boom, boom.
I only played for 5 minutes. I spent the other 55 minutes working out that joke. No, I've played a chunk of this because a friend recommended this a few years ago, because this is in the Metroidvania, or the fans class this in the Metroidvania genre, as in you have to go around. Technically, you're platforming, I guess, to unlock find a new item that unlocks a new ability, or is something to bring back to another person to unlock a new ability in order to progress and expand throughout the world. And I'm not a big fan of pinball, but the way it's all one big interlinking world, and the way that lends itself to also doing pinball is incredibly clever. I thought I was going to play for like 10-15 minutes. I played for an hour, so yeah, I really liked it. I really like the feel of it. I really like the control of it, and I'm looking forward to playing some more. Adam?
Yeah, this looks really charming from what I've seen on the trailer. I don't mind a bit of pinball as well, and the fact they've sort of interwoven pinball in with exploring the world on platforming. I'm sort of looking forward to trying that out. That looks pretty good. I've also know it's apparently it's a BAFTA Games Award for debut games.
Oh,
so,
I didn't know that.
It's got a bit of history, so it's meant to be quite good. But if you're interested in this one, it is available from May 1st to 31st. It got first released on 29th of May 2018. Devs are Villa Gorilla. Published by Team 17. They make a comeback.
Wizard.
And so the next game is The Inner World, in the brackets, The Last Wind Monk, which I believe is a sequel to The Inner World. It's a point-and-click adventure where you can jump between 3 different characters. I've never heard of it before, but I like what I've seen. The style sort of evokes the humour that I like and reminds me of old 90s cartoons for some reason. But yeah, I'm hoping if the story's funny, I'll get into it. And I do like a point-and-click adventure, so I'll be giving this a good... Well, I'll probably complete it whatever happens. I'm going to give it a good go. But I know nothing, so Shaun, what do you think?
I watched a couple of trailers and then a gameplay video on this and couldn't find any actual gameplay. The closest I found, it looks like one of those games where you have a static image and you click on things to reveal what's like where you've just got to fight. It will say you need to find a key and a hairbrush and this, that, and the other, and they're hidden among all the bric-a-brac. So I might be wrong, but I might just have not been able to find something that actually clarifies exactly what this game is like to play.
Okay.
The cutscenes looked quite good, but it took up an awful lot of it, and I'm kind of here to play a game, so
yeah.
I know how I'm going to feel about this one, to be perfectly honest with you, when I could be playing Yoku's Island Express. but I'll be more than happy to give it a go. The animation's in that kind of slightly upsetting, kind of slightly unpleasant kind of thing, which I do quite like, as long as it's used well. So that might draw me in, because I didn't want to sit through a whole trailer and listen to the plot and stuff. I want that when I actually start the experience myself. But I just wanted to get an idea what it was, and I haven't really been able to do that. So we'll see what it's like. I'm willing to give it a go at any rate. Adam?
Yeah, I'm sort of trying to keep an open mind on this one. I wasn't too thrilled by the trailer, but yeah, it may surprise me. It may not. I'm not a huge fan of that type of art style. But as Shaun said, like if it's done well, it can be alright. So I'm keeping an open mind. But if you like, look at this one. This is May 16th to June 15th. It got first released on 20th October 2017. The devs are Studio Fizbin, which is fun to say, and published by Head Up Games and Calypso Media.
Hydro, Thunder, Hurricane.
Yeah!
It's a boat-based racing game. It doesn't take itself too seriously, and I think we've said quite a lot about this already because we have videos out on it already. Watch those; they're great. Used to be on Game Pass. We've all played it. We all enjoyed it. It doesn't need to be as much fun as it is, but it was. I think it surprised us all when we played it. So I just say play it. It's a good game.
I can't wait to get my hands on this again. I have seen this on the marketplace cheap so many times and gone, I should probably just buy that because that was a really, really fun experience. But fortunately for me, I didn't. I've saved it until now, and now me and Jason get to introduce Adam to the glory of Hydro Thunder Hurricane.
Oh,
Yeah.
have you not played this? I thought
No.
you were involved. Oh,
No.
I'm sorry. Mate, you might hate it. Oh dear, that'd be horrible. Wouldn't it?
We'll just kick him off the channel, it's fine.
This is no special treat for me, this Games of Gold, because I own this game. Anyway. Are you looking forward to it, Adam?
Yes, yeah, I've seen your videos on it multiple times, and it looks like you guys had a blast playing this. So yeah, really looking forward to playing this with you guys. And yeah, so if you are as excited as we are, this is available from May 1st to May 15th. First released on 28th of July 2010. The devs are Victor Unit, published by Xbox Game Studios.
And the last game for this month is Viva Piñata Party Animals. Up until about a year ago, I had heard of this series and I didn't know really what it was, and I thought it was aimed at younger than me, and I always ignored it. And then I gave one of the games a go and quite enjoyed it, and it was quite fun. So I thought this might be good. And I noticed this is just a party game based on the characters from those games. So I thought, oh, lower those expectations then. And then I heard, no, it's a good party game. So who knows? I don't know what to think, but I'll give it a go. We'll have a party. Yay! Yeah. Smashing. There you go. There's a Piñata-based joke. I made that up. It's fun, wasn't it? Right. Yeah, it could be good. It's got 40 games and races, apparently, or more than 40 games and races. So
That's quite cool.
There must be some fun in there.
I mean, my entire thought of this is I'll play it with you guys and then never look at it again because it's
I
a
expect
party
that'll be the
game.
case.
It's not really what I play, but I look forward to playing it for the channel. I can't see any reason why we couldn't have fun with it. Adam?
Yeah, this looks sort of like a really fun family game to play. Looking forward to playing it with you guys, and yeah, can't really say much more. The trailer looks quite fun, quite quirky. So yeah, looking forward to this one. This is available from May 16th to May 31st. It got first released on 30th October 2007. The devs are Chrome Studios and also published by Xbox Games Studios.
You can download Xbox Games with Gold if you've got an active account of Xbox Live Gold or Xbox Ultimate, whatever it's called.
But the most important thing, of course, is it's 3,250 game score.
Oh, that's very important, yeah.
I think the most important thing this month is there are 2 games I'm really, really interested in, and another one that I think has the opportunity to to be a big hit as well. So
Ooh.
I think the last few months of me have felt a little lackluster. I'm never going to complain about Microsoft giving us 4 free games. Why would I? But I'm looking forward to the games more than I have for a little while. I'm looking forward to more of the games, I should say, than I have in quite a while. So thank you, Jason, for your incredible, in-depth, layered explanation of what this coming month's Games with Gold are. I don't think you could have done better if you'd have had a week to prepare. Adam, your insights and your knowledge and your extra facts were spot on as always. I would say that is the absolute best we've ever done at that. But what about the month's Games of Gold we've just played? First one was another site. Adam, what did you think?
I've cast my mind back. It seems so long ago. Yeah, another site is absolutely fantastic. I haven't finished it. I do plan to. I enjoyed it immensely. I'm very close, actually. I think I'm on the final level from the information Jason gave. So yeah, I'm very close to that one. It's delightful. I love playing as like a little cat, and even playing as the girl is quite good. But I do love playing as the cat. So much so, I sometimes just go too far with the cat and forget. Oh yeah, I've got to bring the girl along. Especially when I got to go through a door. But yeah, it's a great game. Probably, I would hesitate to guess, but it would probably be one of my favourites of this year.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I didn't like this at all. I feel really bad now.
You can have a different opinion. That's fine.
You can have a different opinion. That's good.
I very much liked playing as the cat, but I found her so slow and irritating to play as, and I didn't like the writing or the way it was performed. It just it left me very flat, and also it had the issue of, like, just in the picture, it so evokes Alice in Wonderland. I was hoping this was going to be incredibly different, and no, it just kind of it was too close for me. So I just feel it could have been, if it had really been its own thing, I might have liked it more, but it felt so incredibly derivative, and again the girl is just not fun to play as, so I was out, I'm afraid. I didn't play as far as... No, I played about as far as you guys did in the demo, in the video, actually, and that was...
Okay.
That was it for me, I'm afraid. Jason!
Well, I'm in between the two of you, I think. I think we're gathering that this is it's a puzzle adventure game. You play as a cat, where you drag a visually impaired girl around with you, then, by the sound of it. Everyone likes the cat.
Yeah.
I had slight issues, which I mentioned in the video. It's nothing outstanding. It's not particularly original, but I enjoyed it. I played it from beginning to end twice. That's partly because due to that video, in order to collect the orb at the beginning, I reset all of my progress. So then I had to play the entire thing again to get the achievement to go in all the orbs and things.
You just didn't go left right at the start, you fool!
No, I went left both times. But when we played the video together, I didn't go, I'll just start level 1 again. I went reset game progress or something, or restart level 1 or something, and that wiped everything I'd done. And I had completed the game at that point, but didn't have all the bits. Anyway, the point is, I played it again. I actually enjoyed it probably even more the second time, because I knew what I was doing more. I found it fun, but not astounding. I enjoyed it. It's probably one of my favourites of the month. But I said it needs more polishing, and I think it definitely needs more play testing, because twice I fell through the game world, and at least once I got stuck somewhere where I had to restart again. And it's just little, and I didn't like the way the controls weren't as good as they could be. I think if it just had a little bit more time, it could have been great. I think the artwork is fine. I think the sound design was fine. The puzzles on the lighter end of puzzles, but they're all right. it's a nice, relaxing game in many ways, but overall, yeah, I've played it. I thought I'd forgotten all about it, then I played it again and thought, yeah, it wasn't that bad. So, I'm not on the fence. I'm just, yeah, it's all right, but nothing astounding.
And that
But I did play a few extra levels for fun. Sorry.
So you didn't complete it, though?
I completed it more than twice.
Oh, I see.
Jason completed it, yeah, loads of times.
I have all of the achievements. I have gone from beginning to end twice, and I've gone back and played, particularly the cat level on its own, probably about 8 times. And I've played a few. I'm not that keen on the first couple of levels, but it does get a bit more difficult and a bit more interesting. I did find the sewer type levels at the beginning a bit boring. So. But the story, I think it thinks it's more cleverer than it is. I don't think it's that clever. I think it's just, it's a story. I don't think it was that amazing. But it's fun fun puzzle. That's my opinion on another site.
And so we move on to Outpost Kaloki X. And this is alright. I played a bit of this. I played bit more than Adam did before we played the video. Got the hang of it. I like the visuals. I really like the sound effects. I like the overall presentation. It's not really a game type for me, so that's as far as I went with it. But it's still on my Xbox, so I have looked at it a couple of times and gone, I might go back to that, but I haven't at this point. Adam, what do you say?
Yeah, I'm quite a fan of this type of game. I haven't actually gone back to it since the video, but it's still on my Xbox, and I do plan to. I'm hoping the worlds get bigger and there's more you can build, and I think that will really hook me in more. But as of what I've played, it's pretty good. It's not the best of its type that I've played, but yeah, it's pretty good. Definitely a thumbs up for me. Jason.
I immediately like the characters and the music, and the introduction, as like the presentation, was great. It reminded me a bit of Earthworm Jim, and even a cartoon I'd forgotten all about, Galaxy High, from many years ago. It reminded me of that for some reason. It's just the game type I don't like, and it's fulfilling orders and pleasing customers and turning a profit and having the little pop-ups at the top of the screen saying do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. Even if they're not saying that in my mind, they're saying do this now, and I don't want to do that when I don't want unnecessary stress in my free time. I'd rather just play something else. But yeah, so I know I won't go back to it. But generally, it looks like a decent game if you like that sort of thing. Not for me though.
Fair enough. Moving on to MX versus ATV Alive. Me and Adam had a bit of a bash at this in multiplayer, and when we finally figured out how to get it to work, I think a fun time was had by us both. This is one that's probably going to be honestly, without having lots of people to play with in that kind of environment, I think this is going to be one that's a lot more fun in single player. But yeah, the mechanic, the graphics are very nice. The sound editing, the sound work is good. It felt good to handle. I can very much imagine it being a lot of fun. I'm just not really into racing games, and I would rather spend my time elsewhere. But again, I have left it on my Xbox because I was hoping to get a bit of a single player session in before we did the Dinocast, but I didn't get around to it. So it is still on there. So I probably will give it another bit of a go just to see what it's like in one player. Because if it's half as fun as I think it is, I think it's going to be a really, really fun kind of arcadey time, and I'm quite looking forward to it. So, Adam, how about you?
Yeah, largely the same, really. I feel the online multiplayer aspect could do with a bit of work.
Yeah, and to be fair, we might have said this in the video, but we are talking about an Xbox 360 game here, right? So
Yeah.
It's days of being it's days of being most fun online are long behind it.
Oh yeah, for sure. But
To be fair,
we had basically we had this weird issue. I've seen it in games before, but we couldn't invite each other into a group, or at least we couldn't find before starting the event. So you'd start the event, and then the timer would be ticking down, and then you've got to invite all your mates then. And it was just a bit backward. And so we was really struggling to find some sort of mode that we could actually do the video on. So we ended up in...
Adam set up a race for us. And he set it up as setting up his own game, privating it, but when we got into it wouldn't let us start the race and kept waiting for more players. Well, there were only the two of us in the party, so we didn't quite know why it was doing that. But there was no screen to select the number of players or anything like that. So it might be literally a case of it goes to that and then has to fill it up. Like, it has to have X number of players, so it has to then fill it up from other people. I don't know, but we couldn't figure it out anyway.
Yeah, it was very weird. So, yeah, that aspect of it was a bit of a letdown. But, as I say, the handling, as Shaun said, very, very good. In fact, I preferred the quad bike. Is the quad? Yeah, the
ATV.
Quad bike. ATV a lot more than I did the bike. The bike was fun, but a bit tricky to land. I'm sure if I played it more, you could sort of land that and get used to it and finesse it and have a lot more fun. But the quad ATV really did handle well. And funny enough, Shaun showed me where that was right near the end of the video, and once I found it, I had a lot more fun.
I agree.
And then we found the water, and you could like skim across the water for a bit, and we was having all sorts of giggles once we got into it. But yeah, overall, pretty good. I quite like racing games. As Shaun said, I'm looking forward to doing a bit of single player, seeing what I think there's some sort of career mode, I'm guessing, so see what that's all about. But yeah, as far as racing games go, 360 game, pretty good.
Jason?
I barely played this one. I've played a few different levels. I only played single player. I only played the bike, I suppose the MX. Generally it's okay. I didn't win any races. I was gradually progressing and getting closer and closer to the winning post each time I played, but it's not calling me back to play it again. It's it handled okay. Nothing spectacular. It's a racing game. It's probably closer to the racing games that I do enjoy because it's a bit more casual and a bit more rough, and didn't seem to be too interested in the intricacies of engines and making designing your own thing and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's just sort of unlocking different bikes. So I think it's the kind of thing I would prefer, but I can't see me playing this again. Sorry. I played it, I thought I'd play it again, never played it again. It did not call me.
And finally, we had Hue, a game in which you slowly obtain colours, the ability to colour the background, and that changes the obstacles both in and out of your way to allow you to progress in a platform puzzler that I absolutely loved. I've completed it before starting this because, any kind of professional would have made sure they completed the game before coming on and talking about it.
You did not let me. I'm saying this.
No, we were talking about this beforehand. Adam is basically a stone's throw from the end. Me and Jason both beaten it.
No, I beated it.
Yeah, you beaten it. Okay, but yeah, it's just an absolutely delightful game. It's not too tricky, but not too simple. The music is lovely. I mentioned it in the video. Actually, it starts off feeling quite somber and almost foreboding. But the further you get through the game, and the more of the letters you get with that lovely, soothing voice, the more the music almost becomes comforting as you carry on through. But yeah, it's strange that I felt that the difficulty wasn't like a curve. I found some levels really easy, then I'd find one really hard. Then I'd find the next couple really easy, and then find another really hard one again. So that's probably something in the way, saying something about the way my brain interprets certain puzzles or colours, but we'll leave that to the experts. I had a thoroughly lovely time with this. I've not gone back and got all of the...
Beakers?
It's like these potions, beakers that are hidden around. I've got most of them. I've just got the last couple to collect. But yeah, Hue is a wonderful game, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Adam, what say you?
Yeah, absolutely love this game. Really, really fun. I quite like a puzzle platformer, and this kind of ticks all its boxes. It's delightfully simple in its graphics, but at the same time just really captures you, especially when all the colours change, and that whole mechanic of so in some of the levels you'll get like boulders rolling down at you, and they're all different colours, and you've got to jump and change the colour of the boulder at the same time as moving forward, and that whole mechanic is absolutely great. Really challenging. As Shaun said, there was some puzzles that I really struggled on, and I had to take a minute and step back and really think about it. And there's other puzzles that were really simple, but I just way overthought them. I'd get myself into all sorts of muddle and all sorts of twisted up, and in the end I'd see what it was, and I'd like, oh, is that what I had to do? Oh, okay. So yeah, all different kinds of difficulty in the puzzles, and especially near the end, actually the last couple I just played that so it's not really a spoiler, but near the end you go to university, and there's puzzles within the university as you're doing it, and those puzzles, I think they've put the harder ones towards the end, but some of them I actually got really quickly, and it's just quite difficult to get through it. And do what you need to do. Others, like the very last one, I struggled. I really did struggle. I was stuck on the middle platform for so long, and I just couldn't work out what I needed to do. And again, it was just me completely overthinking it, and it was just like, oh yeah, I just need to change that colour. Of course I do. But great game. And I'm very much looking forward to the ending, which these guys have stopped me from seeing just before this podcast. Very kind of them.
Why don't you appreciate it?
Yeah.
Not rush it through while chatting to us.
But great game. I would say best of the month, and so far on my list of games that we've played this year, Jason.
This was awesome. I think, without a doubt, my favourite game of the month, possibly of the year. It's exactly what I want from a Games with Gold. It is, because it's not a AAA game, which I'll have already bought if I wanted it anyway, and it's not a little indie game, which might not be up to much. This was, in my eyes, a perfect Games with Gold game. I kind of was aware of it and kind of wanted it already, but I'd never got around to buying it, and suddenly here it is for free. And it lived up to my expectations and beyond. It's well crafted, it's enjoyable. I think the difficulty curve was perfect for me, in that it would constantly just sort of test me And I'd think, and I'd feel really good about getting past that, and then it'd just throw a little thing in there, and I'd think, and get past that. And then I think it's sort of where I was saying about the other game, another site where I thought it needed more play testing. This, I think I can tell they've definitely honed it and fine-tuned it to what people are doing, because you can kind of tell that they're what's the word? They're playing with your expectations, so they think they're sort of training you to behave a certain way and switch colours this way, and then they'll go, oh no, if you do that, this will happen, and you get shot in the back or something. And I just thought it was great. The length was right. I think I kind of thought, well, obviously we're unlocking levels as we do a colour, so it's probably about just as many levels as colours, and then that'll be the end. And then you get a bit extra. So it felt just the right length for me, but I could have done a bit more, but it seemed fine. I will go back and play it, because I think it's difficult enough that you can't quite remember how you did it the first time. Obviously, you'll never get that same experience again of trying to work it out. And definitely, I was there, as you were saying, where occasionally you'll come across a puzzle and you just stare at it and go, I have no idea what I'm doing. Obviously, the only thing you can do is change your colour at a certain moment. That's all you can do. But working out when that is, and as the game progresses, you have to think so many steps ahead each time. And sometimes, particularly in later ones, you'll like test it out and get 5 steps in, and then realise, I should have done that before I did all this, and then have to start the whole thing again.
Yeah.
So no, this is exactly the sort of game I love.
There weren't a lot of puzzles that actually straight up locked you out to the point that you had to kill yourself to start again. Most of them you could work your way back to the start and then retrace your steps, which I thought was good design, because if you could get very annoyed if you lock yourself out of doing the rest of the level. If there's not an easy way to reset yourself, that could frustrate you, whereas always having the ability to go back was I think was a great design choice.
The main one that really caught me out, and caught me out on the second time of playing it, because I kind of passed it flukily the first time, was the first time you get all the little laser beams and you've got to sort of go up and down the platforms and jump across. The first room I kind of did naturally without really thinking about it. The second room took me forever to do. Went back to get the beakers after I'd finished, which I had to go through that room again. It took me so long in that second room again to try and work out the order I have to do things in. It's quite easy, but it's just...
Was that the one with the skulls?
It's the panic.
The falling skulls?
I think it's before the skulls. I might be wrong on this. I think it is.
After.
I think you've just been properly introduced to lasers. You've got like multiple, like a tartan of lasers going every which way. And you've got to sort of jump across to the middle and go up. It's not that difficult once you've worked it out, but it's just I forgot how to do it the second time. And it's that moment of panic, because you've had to do the first room to get to the second room. So you don't really want to die. And there's like 5 different moving platforms, and all the lights are switching on and off, and you've got to switch the colours quite quickly. And it's just that panic of, if you know exactly what you're doing. What I did like about this game is when you got into the groove of it and you could just do it in a flow, and the little guy, he runs quite nicely and jumps quite nicely, you could... It felt pretty good to just do it in a like a, not a speed run, but in swift movements, and just do the whole thing without really stopping and starting. And that that made me feel good, and I like that. But yeah, really good game. A very, very simple concept, played out and designed very well, I thought.
Did you... I want to ask you guys a question. That I got stuck on a certain bit that I totally overthought. So after the lasers and you get into the university, a guy tells you that there's gunk everywhere, and slime, basically. And when you go into the room, they very much look and behave like the lasers, but obviously they can change the colour of the blocks. For the longest time, I couldn't work out the puzzle because I thought I couldn't walk through the gunk and I'd die.
Exactly the same.
Yeah, right. So I'm trying to avoid them, thinking, right, I've got to go round, I've got to do this, I've got to do that, I've got to turn the colour off. And in the end, I accidentally went through one of the gunk and I didn't die, and I was like, oh.
I was exactly
that makes things a lot easier.
I kept resetting the room thinking I'd fucked something up and stopped myself doing it. And yeah, like same as you, I just accidentally went through. I'm like, oh goddamn! Wait, why am I not dead? Boom!
I could go through.
Because yeah, you would absolutely assume that would kill you.
Yeah, right.
No,
Did you come across that, Joe?
I don't. I probably assumed very quickly that would happen, but I think I just tested it and walked through it. And then it became clear that that's how you change the colour of blocks and things. And I definitely got caught out on the things you bounce on. It changes colour. Yeah, and that changes the colour of the lasers. I don't think I picked up on that for quite a while. That changes the colour of what's coming out of it. And that got me caught for quite a while on. I'm going to call it the pink bridge, but I can't remember it. It took me ages to get past that until I realised, it doesn't have to be pink. Yeah, so that was fine. No, a really, really fun game, and I'm gonna go back and play it, and I've still got to get the remaining beakers, and great. It's still available until middle of May, so if you haven't downloaded it, there's plenty of time. Get on it.
Download it. What are you thinking?
Dino approved.
And those were the games with gold for April 2020. But what else have you guys been playing? Adam, I'm going to throw it to you.
To be honest, other than the games of gold and ploughing loads of time into the Olympic Stadium, the Dinos Olympic Stadium, not a lot.
Lazy.
Yeah. I mean, I played. I did a video on it. I think that was this month. I'm so lost with where I am. Hang on. It is Death's Door.
Oh, that one.
I did play Death's Door. That was quite good. Still on my Xbox. I do want to finish that. That's a delightful little game as well, actually. So very fun. If you haven't played that one, download that one. You're basically a Reaper. You're a little. I'm going to say Raven, but
I'll go with that.
Yeah. So you're basically a Reaper Raven, and you got to go around collecting souls, and this really old Raven steals your Mega Soul that you're meant to collect, and basically traps you and forces you into doing his dirty work. So I'm about to dive into the main story of that, so that's really lots of fun on that one. But other than that, not a lot. I did go back to the Flame in the Flood again. That was quite fun. Going back to that. Got a little bit further than I did last time. Now I sort of knew how to deal with the wolves and the hogs and all stuff like that. Basically you can build the bigger trap reasonably quickly if you collect the correct stuff. So if you have one of those in your hotbar at all times, if you come across them, you can sort of press X to get them away, set the trap, and save your little behind. But that's a lot of fun.
Did you say save my little behind?
Yes, because they literally bite your ass and kill you. So and if you did catch the video, I got caught in between two of them, so that was a lot of fun. But other than that, I haven't been playing too much else, so I shall throw it over to Jason.
Okay. I'd like to do a couple of short mentions to two games I've started playing but haven't finished yet. One is Adam's Venture Origins. That's not Adam here. This is Adam's Venture Origins is the name of the game. I would describe it
my
as...
Origins.
It looks a bit like you. It's a puzzle adventure game, 3D. It's somewhere between Broken Sword and Tomb Raider, I would say. So it's full third-person view, but solving simple puzzles. They cram quite a lot of puzzles into the opening bit, which is pretty much all I've done so far. I don't think it's quite as well written as the Broken Sword game we played. It's all right so far. I may go back, but it's not like my top of the pile of things to play. But I'll probably go back and finish it at some point. I'm assuming it's not that long, hopefully. Yeah, it's. I think it's sort of early 19th. Oh, I don't know. It's in the past, and it's running around trying to find treasure and stuff and that sort of thing. But I haven't got very far with it, so I'm not going to comment too much on that.
Is
the
that
other
one
game
you've
I started playing
bought for yourself, or is that on Game Pass?
No, that's Game Pass. Game Pass. No,
Definitely
I've
worth
played
£10
quite a
month.
few. At the moment, I am really enjoying the Game Pass.
Yeah.
Another Game Pass one is Kentucky Route Zero, which I only started playing the other night. I think. Have you played it?
No, I have it. I'm quite looking forward to it.
Okay. Well, I've finished sort of the first area, or the first map. That's as far as I've got so far. But it's a very simple, stylistic type game. It's quite atmospheric. The visuals and the sound sort of make up for that. But it's the closest thing I've played to a text adventure in like 30 odd years. There's lots of text bits where it's like you are in a room and there's the description of what's in each direction. Do you want to go there or go there or go? It's just written, go down the corridor. The corridor is dark and the walls feel like this, and it describes things to you. There are bits where it's all visual, but there are lots of like text adventure bits, and it's really quite atmospheric, and I'm enjoying it so far. And there's lots of spooky bits in the visuals which aren't mentioned, but you just sort of catch out the corner of your eye, and it's like horror movie cliche type things where there's a sudden what was that moments, which I'm quite enjoying. So I will be playing that again. The only reason I stopped playing that the other day was because it was time to go to bed. What else? I have been playing. I'm trying to find my list. Right. So what I've got, I started jokingly calling what I do on a Sunday morning therapy games recently, which is basically, I would class Hue and another site in these they're kind of generally quite simple, no stress. I mean, Hue can be a bit stressful, but not too bad. It's not real imminent death problems. You're not too worried. You're just sort of going through the story. You might learn a bit. It might be just music. Things you can just sort of play. They're relatively short games, probably in a few hours. I kind of started picking up on this when I played Lake the other month, which is the postal worker in the hometown, sort of reevaluating her life and that sort of thing. And I started getting emotions from these games and I'm not saying they are like therapy, but they are, in my mind, I jokingly started calling them therapy games, as in nice, relaxing. You start thinking about your own life and move along. And then I've just been sort of downloading things on Game Pass and found more and more of them really that just sort of sit that mood. So I mentioned before on the thing, The Artful Escape, which is, again, you don't do much in it. You basically press right for the entire game and occasionally press a button. But it goes for a story about someone who's growing up and the shadow of his famous uncle and that sort of thing, and he has to discover who he really is and become his own person. And then I did the other month, I talked about The Longest Road on Earth, which made me cry a few times, which is doing the mundane activities. And that's another one you can complete in 3 hours. So that's one of my Sunday morning games. I also played another Game Pass game, a Memoire Blue, which is a light story-based puzzle game about family struggles. You can complete it in an hour, and I played it through twice, one Sunday morning. Nice, enjoyable, lovely little game. Again, not difficult. You might even not call it a game. These are all more experiences, and that's what I'm kind of into at the moment. And then the other day, I was quite surprised because I downloaded Lost Words Beyond the Page, which I was under the impression was probably going to be a little childish, simple game about a girl's journal and writing a fantasy story, and you sort of move the words around and reconstruct it. And that sort of the gimmick is you move the words around and slightly adjust things, and you can jump across the words, and you're living on the page and in this storybook. And then it gave me a gut punch in the feels, and I was crying again. I was not expecting that to be what it was, and that is, if I'm going to say therapy game, this is the game that therapizes me properly. This is a slight spoiler, so I'll just, if you want to know what it's about, or don't want to know what it's about, skip the next 20 seconds.
Adam, I'm just going to log off for like 20 seconds.
Okay. I did not realise, playing the first couple of levels of this light-hearted little kiddie game, that it was actually all about loss and grief and death and mourning and how to cope with that. And oh my God, I was crying and bawling a few times, and it was just choking me up. Yeah, I completed it the same day. Fantastic game. You get to sort of customize it a little bit, and you can choose the name of the character from one of a few, and you can choose the colors they wear and the little what accessories and what they like in their life. So the things you're collecting throughout the game vary depending on what you chose at the beginning, and it kind of adapts to your choices, but not amazingly, but it makes it feel like it's your own story that you're writing. And then the second punch to the stomach or the tears was as it was the credits were going up, I realised, it's written by Rhianna Pratchett, Terry Pratchett's daughter, whose father obviously was a writer and who died of with dementia.
Yeah.
And that just put a whole new level on the whole thing for me, because it's obviously about the loss of, it probably isn't, because it's about loss of anyone, but that, because I was a big fan of his, still am a big fan of his, and he's written lots of stories that have meant much to me. Suddenly that was a case of that's the thing, we haven't lost his words, we've just lost him, and it's how do they live on and that sort of thing. And generally speaking, it's a game, I've started playing games that make me feel. And so that there's quite a few on Game Pass that you can do that with. Other ones I would mention are
what's that? Have we discussed Firewatch?
We have briefly discussed it. I haven't gone back to it yet. I still do intend to.
I found
it's
that
just
unbelievably compelling.
That's why I want to give it the moment it's due, because I know. Well, I hope it'll live up to what I'm expecting now, because I've kind of built up too much. But it's a game I want to finish. But there's so many it's so easy to download these games that only take a couple of hours and just go, I'll just do that. That's easy enough. And then you've got another 10 of them. And another one was Gora Goa, is how I'm going to pronounce it, which I must have downloaded, I don't know, 8 months ago or something. I feel like I did. And I didn't even know what it was. I was flicking through my games on my Xbox and I thought, what's that? Started playing it. Finished it the same day again. Puzzle game where you move. So you're a person in it, but the backgrounds, you can sort of move. There's like 4 panels on each page, and you can sort of move them up and down and zoom in and zoom out the perspectives, and it changes what's in them, and then those panels interact. It's very hard to explain, but play it. It's a good game. Goragoa, Goragoa, and yeah, that was again another surprise. There's loads of great games on there. If you're particularly into sort of light-hearted, short puzzle adventure games with meaning, play them. They're all most of them are good. I'm sure there's crap ones there too. Oh, there is a crap one. What was it called? There was an awful game I played. Damn it, I didn't look it up. It was a demo. I'm not going to tell you what it was. I'll tell you about it next month. Or we'll cut it in here in a second. But yes, there are some dodgy games on there which are just, what the hell is that? But most of them are very nice. That's what I'm going to say.
Sure to come back next month for the conclusion to this thrilling cliffhanger of what is that thing Jason thinks he played.
I wouldn't hold your breath, because actually I didn't play it this month. I played it about 3 months ago, and I keep going to mention it every single time and forget what it's called.
And I'm certain in a month when we record the next Dinocast, there's no way we'll remember this. Should make that our word of the week. They've got to guess what game Jason played a demo of 3 months ago.
It was called... It was a demo, and it was called Best Month Ever! Exclamation mark. It's not awful, but it's a demo, and if that's what they're selling the game on, I'm not going back to it. There's so much potential there for a good game, but it was... Now, again, it was months ago, so I'm going to tell you what. You play as, I think, the child, and you've got a mother, and this is it. I think it starts around... No, I'm probably going to get this all wrong. I think it starts in the 60s or something, and your mother's a waitress and she quits her job, and you make sort of life decisions as the mother, I think, and then that will affect how the child grows up, and you'll later play as the child later in the game.
Oh, that's quite cool idea.
Yes, it's a cool idea. It's boring as shit to play. Hopefully they'll adapt it, and so the key thing I'm saying this month is play test things, and if they're listening now, whoever you are, good concept, please improve your game. Wasn't that fun.
Do you know what? You actually say play lots of demos, but I'm a bit OCD with that. It bugs me when I've got a bunch of demos when I look through my all-owned games section. And it really bugs me because I'm like, well, I obviously didn't like you enough to buy you, so why is the demo in here? I want it to go away. Stop reminding me. It's like a constant ad for a game I didn't want to buy.
You can uninstall it. I'm literally looking at the one I'm moaning about, and it's got the option to uninstall it.
No, you can uninstall it, but it still sits there in your owned games.
Oh, does it? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's end this on a negative. What have you been playing, Shaun?
There's very little negative here, mate. I've been playing some absolute belters this month, and all my favourite ones have come through the channel. So I can't remember if I'd completely finished Tunic by the end of the last Dinocast, but I have done everything there is to do in Tunic now, with the exception of one achievement where you have to do something two achievements where you have to do things in a certain order, which I will save for a second playthrough, which I'll do in a couple of years. But Tunic is just an absolutely phenomenal experience. I've never played anything exactly like it. I'm a really, really, really big fan of that. I've been playing the DLC to the original PS4 Spider-Man game, as I'm finally about ready to play Miles Morales. So I've been doing that, which has been a lot of fun. What else have I played? Oh, I did play something. I played a game called Record of Lodos War, which is based on... Well, to be fair, reading up about the series was more interesting than the game. The game was what you call a Metroidvania, so like a Castlevania like Symphony of the Night. But I found it so... I've already used the word once today, but I found it really derivative. It had so little that was new, and it didn't have the... Because it was made to look anime, like because it was like proportioned like standard anime characters, it wasn't particularly stylized, because it's obviously, that's a style I see a lot. So there was just really nothing to make it stand out or latch out to. I played the whole thing. It took me about a day, because I had to have a couple of days off this month. So I think it took about a day, maybe 2 days, but yeah, that's on Game Pass, but meh. Unless you are a diehard Metroidvania fan, I wouldn't bother. But that was the bump in the road. So for the channel, I played Kaze and the Wild Masks, in which you play... It's basically a left to right scrolling platformer with a rabbit girl, and it was an absolute blast. I wish I'd played a bit more before I did the video, because I wish I'd showed off one of the bosses, because the bosses are an absolute blast. They suddenly the challenge jumps up about 5 notches, and they've got like crazy music, and they're doing all these kind of really inventive things in the space. Really, really like that. I would have liked to have shown off a couple more of the masks as well, because I show off the bird. There's a tiger one, which is fine. It gives you a forward dash and allows you to climb walls and stuff. But the next, I think it's the next level on, gives you like this what do you want to call it? Like a reptile mask, like a reptile head thing.
Okay.
And that makes the game an auto runner, and it runs really quickly, and you have to avoid everything that gets in your way. But also, all the levels have these things you have to find in them. So you have to get X amount of gems, and you have to find the 2 secret extra difficult puzzles, like little puzzle rooms that are in there. And there's another thing as well. Oh yeah, and there's the letters K, A, Z, and E. so you have to get those in every level as well. So I went through every level and did all of that, and some of them are really tricky. I had a really, really great time with it. It is just, it's very nicely designed. I liked, like, the bad guys are all these vegetables, and they just look really just fed up with it, like really just grumpy, and that is a really fun design choice for the enemies. I never got sick of looking at them, even though there's not the greatest amount of variety. But again, it's a game that doesn't overstay its welcome. I think there's 4 worlds with about 7 levels, and 7 levels, main levels, and 1 extra super challenging one in each world, and a boss. So it took me probably a couple of days to beat, because I wasn't trying to rush through it, but also I was going through every level, getting all the collectibles and everything to 100% it, and yeah, it's well worth it. It's just a really pitch perfect platformer, with incredible control. Very, very rarely. You're very, very rarely going to die and not see how it's your fault. Maybe a little bit while you're getting used to the auto runner mask, because it just throws shit at you and goes crazy. But yeah, that was super fun. And the last thing I've been playing this month, which is a bit weird to talk about now because the video for this comes out Friday, but we're actually doing this a week in advance, is Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion. A game that I downloaded and played because its name is Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion, and I didn't even look at what kind of game it was. I just get on my fucking console immediately.
I almost did the same thing. I saw that in the marketplace the other day.
Well,
And
I tell you what,
I think I downloaded it.
It is an absolute blast. It's like a really lightweight knockoff of Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, the SNES outing. But god damn, is it funny. It's so funny. You're constantly meeting new characters, and they all have dumb shit to say, and they got his starting point is go over there, fetch quest, and then you have to do all these other little fetch quests to the point that it gets increasingly ridiculous, the amount of fetch quests you've got. There's loads of little nods to the player, like little fourth wall breaking. Like at one point you just find a trophy running around, right? And you've got all these equipable items that go in your thing. And it just goes up with a thing saying, yeah, basically we need to keep rewarding you so you get an endorphin rush and want to continue playing our game. Here's a trophy. It's really making me laugh. And then as you progress, so the idea is kind of like it's kind of like Animal Crossing a little, or so something like that. Like, so there's the one person you've committed. The mayor comes up and says you've committed tax evasion, and he is annexing your greenhouse. And to get out of paying all the there's no money in the game, but the actual money that you owe is in dollars, and it's a preposterously huge amount. So you basically become his lackey. So you have to go around and do his fetch quest, which leads to more. But as the game gets further, like, the story spirals and gets increasingly ludicrous, and I'm sure as hell ain't going to spoil where it goes. But if you were to start this game and you could guess where it ends, with all the twists and turns, you're some kind of fucking crazy person, because it just goes batshit insane by the end. And it is really, really fun. Again, it is very much like the Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past as well in the control. So you've got your little sword, you've got a couple of additional bonus items you equip. So the combat, there is a lot of combat in it, but it's never really a focus. But you do get bosses and stuff. The bosses get quite tricky, but none of the rest is particularly difficult. It's more putting game in there so you can have fun with that mechanic while you get to the next bizarre story beat or bizarre character you're going to meet, rather than the challenge of the combat being the focus of the game, if that makes sense. So yeah, I was never bored playing it. I was never getting frustrated with the combat or anything, but it was nice to have something breaking up, finding another character and going to a new place and that before getting on with the rest of the game. But I want to be vague about it because certainly if you've downloaded it, Jason, like if you have a look at my video on Friday, the Friday just passed when this goes out, you'll see that it's either your kind of humour or it isn't, and it really, really tickled me. So, yeah, Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion. A grouping of words I've almost certainly never said in my life, but I'm very happy to have found them, because that game was a joy. It was a delight. And that is an exhaustive list of everything we've been playing over the past month or so. But... Jason, what have you been watching?
Not a lot. I was very happy to see that both series that I used to watch, Better Call Saul and Derry Girls, are back. And I've watched the first episode of each. So I'm pleased to have them back, but I have very little to say at the moment, other than I'm enjoying them so far.
I have been meaning to watch Better Call Saul for years, and I keep forgetting it exists. So I'm going to try and finally get around to that, because it's in its last season now, right?
I believe so, yes.
So I'm going to try and get round to that relatively soon.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I think it's... I don't think it's different to Breaking Bad. Obviously, it's connected to it, and it adds to that story. But it's a story in its own right with just some of the same characters. And it's enjoyable, but I don't know, the series or the seasons always seem a little bit short, or they don't. I don't know. I enjoy the story and all the characters, and I'm happy to watch it, and I will carry on watching it. But I wouldn't say it's my favourite thing ever. It's no Frasier to Cheers. It's.
I mean, to be fair though,
Cheers.
In this instance, the Cheers of Breaking Bad is one of the greatest pieces of television of all time. Like, then being as far beyond that as Frasier was to Cheers is a big ask.
Just on top, I've just remembered another show I've been watching. Cheers. Cheers is on in the mornings on Channel 4 now before I go to work. So when I eat my breakfast, I've been watching Cheers, which I haven't watched since I was a child. So I'm now getting lots of jokes I didn't get as a child. So I'm reliving that. It's very good.
Nice.
Norm! There you go. I got that joke, obviously. But yeah, good fun. I recommend Cheers. And Better Call Saul and Derry Girls. All good fun. Nice comedies, a lot of them.
I haven't seen Derry Girls.
It's fun.
What's that about?
Derry Girls is a I think it's early 90s set. I was going to say 4 girls in Derry in Northern Ireland during the Troubles. It's actually not 4 girls, it's 3 girls and a boy. Or is it 4 girls and a boy? It's 4 girls and a boy, sorry. And he's English, so, you know, scum. I see this as an English boy myself. Hey, it's very enjoyable. It's nice. It's got lots of retro old songs from when I was growing up. It's funny. Obviously, they're all played by slightly older than they actually are playing, but I don't think that stands out too much. It's just fun seeing... It's very nostalgic for a place I never was, and it's nice to see that from like an everyday person's point of view, that growing up in that. But it's just a comedy, and they get up to hijinks. It's each episode, and it's fun. I enjoy it, and there's a lot of heart in there, and I like the parents, and I like the kids, and I like all the characters, and I like the nun. The nun's very good. Everyone should like the nun. Watch it. It's good fun. Good fun with a nun.
Adam, what have you been watching?
I've been watching more Psych. I'm watching that series. I'm on series 3 now. Very good. It's getting better and better. My kind of silly comedy completely. Love that series. We've been watching a series that my wife is very much into. I've kind of been watching it. Riverdale.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, I saw
Yeah.
most of the first season of that. I think. Before
Yeah,
it
I
went,
really. Well, I really enjoyed the first couple of. I forget what season it's on now. The first season, second season, possibly. But the season that she's on now, it's gone silly. That they've gone into the realms of superhero.
Oh really? I wasn't expecting that.
And-
Okay.
And it's not. That's not what the original series is about. About a bunch of teenagers, sort of fighting the sort of grown-ups to save their town, really, and one in particular. But all sorts of weird stuff starts happening, and then they end up with superpowers, and it's gone a bit silly for me. I'm still watching it basically because my wife is watching it, but yeah, it is good. It is good, but it does take some really weird turns. Not that I'm against superhero stuff. I quite like superhero stuff, but when shows kind of mix two genres together, it's kind of a mashup that I don't really get too much. But yeah, that's quite good. I watched Sonic 2 in cinemas.
Ooh.
That was really good. Really lots of fun. Enjoyed the first one. Enjoyed the second one even more. I can't decide whether I prefer the first or second one in terms of a movie as a whole, but I have to say Jim Carrey in it, absolutely perfect. Perfect performance by him.
Well, I'm going to jump in on
really-
this as well because I
Yeah, go
saw
for
that
it.
this month and I absolutely fucking loved it. I understand that the first one is maybe a better family movie,
Yeah.
but this one, just as a Sonic fan, and as a movie that's
yeah.
about and starring Sonic, this blew it out the water for me. I
Well,
loved
you've got
it
towels and knuckles
so
in
much.
it, everything.
Yeah, with the exception of the weird point where it just stops and does the wedding shenanigans, which I still found kind of funny.
Yeah.
It's pretty much all with Sonic this time, and very
Yeah.
little with the humans, and I really, really appreciated that. Knuckles was friggin' awesome. Really, really funny. I love Tails' performance. Tails and Sonic, like, going so quickly to that little kind of brotherly Bond thing was so sweet to watch.
Yeah.
And
I didn't know they were from different planets. Is that a thing? I didn't know that.
No, they're from different islands in the games, but same as
Right,
Knuckles is
okay.
from a different island.
Okay.
But yeah, oh man, and it's so funny. Like, it's constant jokes, which I really, really appreciated.
Yeah.
We'll get into slight spoiler territory here. I was disappointed when I understood why they did it, but I was disappointed at the start where they're like, oh, we've taken the Chaos Emeralds and we've put them in this Master Emerald, so there's one MacGuffin to find. But then at the end, when they did the thing, I was just like, oh, this is just the fucking best. I should
Yeah, that was.
probably not have it. Watching this one even more so than the first one was literally me sitting there going, this is all fucking 12-year-old Shaun ever wanted to see. Like, at the cinema. Like, 12-year-old Shaun would be losing his fucking mind watching this. I guess I should say 13 or 14-year-old as it's got Knuckles in it, and he came a little later. But, yeah, I was just absolutely having the best time. And then, like, this is the thing. The last trailer I saw before the movie came out spoiled the fucking giant death egg robot. I was so upset. I'm like, because I'd seen the tornado and that, but the last trailer had its head in it. I'm like, I know exactly what that fucking thing is, and I'm now so excited. And it was so fun.
Did you expect the end character? Right at the end? After the credits?
Yeah. Yes and no. We didn't actually see that. I had to watch a pirated version when I got home. I'll explain what we went to see afterwards in my little section. But yeah, no, I have seen that scene, and that looks pretty cool.
I thought it'd be someone else. I didn't expect that character. I don't know.
Who do you think it would have been then?
I don't know. I just didn't expect that one. I don't know.
Okay.
I thought we might get a glimpse of sort of the rest of the gang. But no, we got a glimpse of that character. I'm fully into like getting to see that character, but yeah, I thought it would be of the rest of the gang. So,
oh, fair enough. I was kind of hoping for Metal Sonic.
okay.
I don't know why I'm being coy about this. This the clip at the end has Shadow in it.
You've ruined it for me now.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go.
Yeah, sorry.
I wasn't trying to say that. I was trying to skirt around it.
Well, and I was wondering because Jim Carrey reckons he's considering quitting acting, and I wonder if he gave them the heads up while making Sonic 2 so they could, now they've got an out to not use Carrie's Robotnik if he decides not to return again, because Gerald Robotnik, Robotnik's grandfather, I think it was, actually created Shadow. So that's a way to circumnavigate. You can almost recast Eggman without recasting him because it's his ancestor. It's a different character. They could get around it that way if they need to. But yeah, I like the end of this seemed to imply that they're going to go to different planets, which I want so much.
Yes. Yeah.
Like this time, the first time felt so weighed down by being in America, like being in a real place, that I think using Hawaii, so basically all you saw was a beach and loads of sea, and then going up to the ice cap zone, wherever it was, the cold area, and then they went to like a big forbidden island and a Mayan temple, made it feel so much more video gamey than them being on roads and near big buildings and stuff. I feel it really, really helped me. Like one of my favourite bits in this entire movie is such a dumb little thing because they keep doing Robotnik's going to turn on Knuckles here, right? He's going to turn on Knuckles here. And there's this bit where Knuckles is hanging off the edge of a cliff and Eggman starts giving this speech that he's about to betray him, and like all of these robots come around Knuckles like, okay, well, I'm going to hang on to the edge of this cliff and fight these guys. Oh, no, you've just made me some stairs. And he goes up and the alliance continues because they just keep going to that well. And that was really, really funny. Really enjoyed that.
Really, really well. I can't imagine anybody else playing that role that Jim Carrey plays, Robotnik. I can't imagine any other actor, really.
It's absolutely perfect, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, love the film. If you haven't seen it, definitely go watch it.
Absolutely.
Fantastic film.
Yeah. Go in with the expectations that this is a crazy Sonic Kids movie and you will have a blast.
Okay.
Yeah. But other than that, I have that's pretty much it for me. So I shall pass it along.
This month I saw a little movie called Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Really?
No, we had to skip out the end of that because we were doing a double bill with Morbuis, the ill-fated, critically panned Jared Leto Z-list Spider-Man vampire character movie. It's nowhere near as bad as everyone says. It's not great, but it's one of those movies that's really fun to watch because you can sit there and go, I can very clearly see that like big chunks of this has been cut out and other bits have changed. Like they only refer to the bats at the beginning as vampire bats, right? And there's a bit where he's I think it's his assistant. There's a woman who's helping him. I think she's also a doctor, but she's very clearly not saying vampire bat. They're clearly using a proper term for it, but they were just like, no. We need to short on all the like. I think there was probably another 20 minutes in the beginning of establishing characters and establishing this, that, and the other, and Sony have gone, nope, get to the fucking vampire. So yeah, they just say vampire bats a lot, and then he just gets vampire bat powers. It's very, very silly. But then Morbius was always quite silly. But Matt Smith is... I don't hate Jared Leto the way a lot of people do. A lot of people just have issue with him for existing. I try to... Other than the fact that he sounds like he's a fucking nightmare to be around, I take his acting for what it's worth. I think he's pretty good. Matt Smith was better because it's Matt Smith. But yeah, if this movie had another half an hour, there's probably something really good in there. But it just got hatcheted and shortened and stuff moved around, which just made it a mess. And I can still quite enjoy that. I said to my mate when I come out of it, my mate said that was an absolute fucking mess, and I said that was a mid-budget 80s movie. Like, it really, really felt like quite retro in the way that it was just, like it was just paced to just get to the fucking action, get to the action bit. And then there was the end cutscene, which is a baffling choice, by all accounts rewritten, and you can say again some of the things Michael Keaton is saying in that end scene in the end credits is not the motions his mouth is making. So I don't know what that originally was, but yeah, it's really fun. It's gonna make, if anyone cares enough, one day some stuff like Morbius will make a fascinating documentary, because like the director, like this is a thing Sony keep doing. They keep giving these like no name or very low tier directors these projects that they want to be multi-million-pound or projects, which is just not a great idea. But this guy here has come on record and said, like, when he was making the film, he didn't know if it was part of the MCU or not, but Sony kept telling him to put this MCU stuff in. And then it turns out, no, that's not allowed. But yeah, the guy making this movie didn't, and I think Serkis said it as well. Andy Serkis, who did Venom 2, both said, we don't know. We have been told there is a Spider-Man in this universe, and we're not allowed to say anything about him. It's like, what? These are fucking Spider-Man characters. What are you doing? But yeah, that's why we missed the little reveal at the end of Sonic 2, and we both were like, we could have missed the first 5 minutes of this and not watched that. That would have been much cooler. But there we are.
Did you have to run from one cinema to the other?
Yeah, it's just in a different screen.
Okay, I just imagine like Scooby Doo, like running through the corridors backwards and forwards. But yeah, okay, I look forward to that.
No, well, we do that relatively often. When there's something on late, we'll normally want to go see something first to just kill the time. And we wanted to see Sonic and we wanted to see Morbius, so it just worked out quite nicely. So the reason we saw Uncharted, because we were going to, I forget what else we were going to go see. I think it was an anime thing. The only reason we saw Uncharted is because the anime thing was on like 8 o'clock. We're like, I've got 2 hours to kill. Uncharted will do. But that brings me to The Lost City, which very much in the same ilk as Uncharted. It's a 80s Romancing the Stone style comedy action adventure movie, starring Sandra Bullock as a erotic fiction writer and Channing Tatum as her super gorgeous cover model, and Daniel Radcliffe as a psychopathic villain. And it was far funnier than it had any right to be. Adam, I would specifically suggest it to you.
Yeah, really
you
interested.
Really enjoyed Uncharted. There's this is like that, but I think much funnier. So yeah, if you and it's, I was a bit disappointed because it was a 12A, because I thought it was going to be a lot more bawdy,
okay,
like a lot more adult humor kind of stuff. But regardless, for what it had, I found it very, very funny. It had a lot of heart. It was, it was really, really fun for what it was. I thoroughly enjoyed it. So, if you get the chance, Adam, I think you should watch that. If it comes on Netflix or whatever, I think you'd thoroughly enjoy it, matey.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely want to watch that.
And the rest of my time, I've finally got round to watching Superman and Lois. It's now in its second season. It's a CW comic book show. I kind of tend to give up on them after a few seasons. Well, I watch more than I should. I watch to the point that I actively hate watching it, and then I stop watching them. So it's normally about season 3 or 4 they get so actively bad I hate myself for watching them, and then I'll watch another couple of seasons and then I'll finally stop. But season 1 of Superman and Lois is a thing of two halves, right? I hated the first half of it. I'm like, it's fucking miserable, and the whole thing, like, when I'm watching this version of Superman, I'm thinking, like, this guy's life is kind of sad. He feels like a failure. And I'm like, this is really not what I'm looking for in a fucking Superman show. It's like, I described it to one of my friends, actually, as Smallville, but with all of the charm removed. It was just, it's so horrible. But when it gets to about the halfway point, and they finally start doing some fucking Supermaning, rather than small town emo wallowing in self-pity, then it gets really, really fun. And I was having a great time with it. Like, they bring in a brand new character, ballsy move, brand new character, Superman's brother. That was well done and very fun. Literally the worst Jor-El I've ever seen. Like, they do the cliche, there's a hologram Jor-El thing in it, and fucking hell, I'm not going to knock this guy as an actor, but I don't know why the fuck they cast him specifically, because he just in no way embodied anything I think about when I think of Jor-El. He was like kind of a cuddly uncle. That's not at all how I envisioned Jor-El. But no, that had a lot of fun twists and turns. It threw in some extra characters, and I probably would have left it there, but then I got a spoiler accidentally for season 2, and it's got Bizarro in it, and I am fucking all about Bizarro. Do you know what Bizarro is? Superman's insane backwards clone. So it's got like this white broken face, and they're probably not going to do it properly because he's a bit more of a humorous character than anything else, but he kind of he gets things backwards. So when he arrives, he says goodbye. When he leaves, he says hello. He speaks in this weird kind of like half backwards child speak kind of thing. Okay. He's a super fun character, but he's got like all of the powers and a warped version of all of the knowledge of Superman. But it looks like they're just going to use him as a villain here, maybe, and I'm down with that. Just give me some Bizarro and I'm cool with it, because I love a clone, and Bizarro is one of the absolute best. And if they want to go super... I don't know how this has come about, so I'm guessing, like, in Season 1, there's this weird, different form of kryptonite under the town. So I'm guessing they're going to do a thing of somehow that made the Superman clone, because it's busting out of the Earth in the first 3 episodes of Season 2. But there is another thing to Bizarro, which you don't see very often, which I'd love to see adapted. Is because there's a whole Bizarro world. And, like, I don't know, this is one of these zany Silver Age ideas. So Bizarro has his own planet, and it's a square planet. And, like, there's a Bizarro Lois and a Bizarro Perry and, like, all of the... like, a Bizarro Metropolis and all these things. And, like... Bizarro is the main hero there, and he spends most of his time destroying the city. Oh,
I want to see that show.
I really want to see that in the show, but it seems highly unlikely that they would ever put that in it. Like, there's an episode of season 1 centered around, and I apologize if anyone listening is sensitive to this subject. I'll try not to be flippant about it, but there's a whole episode where she's dealing with the trauma of a miscarriage. Again, like, that is important stuff that needs to be talked about, but I don't know if it needs to be in a Superman show. So a show that had that in season 1 and Superman having this brother and kind of recycling the plot from Man of Steel. But like all this apocalyptic stuff, it also had an alt universe Superman who had gone to the dark side and murdered the Earth to be with his brother and stuff. I don't see that show in this season going to Bizarro World, but dear God, if they did, it would be even better. You could watch some of those episodes back to back and go, how is this remotely the same thing? It'd be amazing. But yeah, so Superman Lois, it is, well, half of season 1 is quite good, and it is the first season of a CW show, so that's clearly where all the ideas are, because this is how it always works. Season 1 is really good. Season 2 is normally a rehash, and then from season 3 onwards, things start going very quickly downhill. So let's see how much longer I can put up with this. I mean, it's DC. I do have a really, really high tolerance. Like, I fucking absolutely love Superman. So chances are I might watch more of this than I might otherwise watch. But then I watched all of Arrow, and Jesus Christ, 2 seasons of that was like pulling teeth. It was so goddamn awful.
I couldn't watch a scene of that. Maybe I chose the wrong scene to turn it. I just caught a bit of an episode and went, I'm not feeling this. I don't know what's going on here. It's not the sort of thing I want to watch.
That's fair. Like, the first season of Arrow is the best season of Arrow, and the first season of Arrow isn't very good. He's a very inconsistent character as to whether he kills or not, and who he kills, and this, that, and the other. But for what it did at the time it did it, it was, I'm not going to say revolutionary, but it was different to most of the other content out there. It started quite grounded and quite serious, and bringing in lots of comic booky tropes in a grounded, serious, and relatively low budgety way. And yeah, like the first season of The Flash is pretty good. Then got progressively worse, I'm sure. I watched the season of Supergirl when they brought in Lex Luthor, which I think was season 3, and that got really good. Because their Luthor was great. But yeah, Batwoman was dead on arrival. I was really hopeful for that, because I'm a big fan of Batwoman in the comics, but fucking hell was that show terribly written. And it's the CW way. They aren't great at writing. Well, it's no, they're not great at writing. I think that's fair. But basically, their writing is aimed at that kind of teen to early adult audience. So it's aiming for Buffy, but whatever we may think of Joss Whedon, the complete wanker now, he had a spark to his dialogue that none of these shows have, and he had an originality in the way he plotted and the way he paced the season and what the big bad actually was conceptually. And these shows are all aiming for that and just not quite having the skill to do it. But they kill 40 minutes in a mildly entertaining way, or they do for a couple of seasons, which is when I watch them. I will eventually go back and I watched all of Arrow and all of Flash up to Crisis. I watched Supergirl from season 3 on up to Crisis. I watched the first season of Batgirl up to the Crisis episode, and then never watched it again.
Did you watch those because they were still converging? Is that right? In Crisis, they sort of overlap a bit.
Yeah,
Is that
in
correct?
Crisis, all the shows came together. So I wouldn't have watched. There were I had to watch 2 seasons of Arrow, 1 season of Flash, and whatever else there was. Oh, I had to watch 2 seasons of Legends of Tomorrow. That was fucking awful. Again, I quite like the first season, but oh god, yeah, these
I have a
CW
question.
shows are just
How was Crisis then, as a thing? Did that work?
Crisis.
Was it worth it?
Oh, it definitely was. Crisis was a lot of fun. It is amazing. They were trying to do on the relatively tiny budget they had. They were trying to do something that required at least 3 or 4 times the budget they had.
Oh.
And like, as far as the quote unquote crisis went, it was really quite remarkable the way you can take basically the idea of Crisis on Infinite Earths are there are infinite number of Earths. Most of them are being wiped out by this thing called the Anti-Monitor that gets more powerful with each universe it destroys. Basically, it's trying to alter the balance between matter and antimatter universes. Which every matter universe it destroys, the antimatter universes grow. So it brings together every single character in DC canon, near enough, and it brings them all together to fight or be pitted against villains or die. Like, everyone gets a panel or something. So imagine condensing this down to over 5 shows I think they had at the time, with 20 odd characters, 25 main characters, if you include the Legends of Tomorrow main characters, and their side characters, on a budget of a CW TV show. I can only applaud them for their efforts, because I had a lot of fun watching it, but some of the time I was laughing at it rather than with it. But on the other hand, it did give us our final appearance of Burt Ward's Robin. There's like a thing when when the Anti-Monitor is taking a planet, the skies turn red and it starts raining blood. And he's walking down the street and he looks up and says something like, "Holy red sky, Batman!" You know, as the sky turns to red and Earth is destroyed. It also gave us what I imagine is going to be our only appearance of the legendary Kevin Conroy, voice of Batman, live action.
Oh, wow.
Was we thought he was going to be playing Batman Beyond Bruce, so we were all quite excited for that. But it appeared he was playing the Batman vs Superman version of Bruce, but had he killed Superman? And he was just like this fucking crazy old man. It was really awesome. Really subverted expectations. I enjoyed that very much. But yeah, I would say, if you can get over not knowing who all these characters are, because you don't really need to, they're mostly a costume and a kind of... They're basically a costume, and anything else you need is described within the crossover. Then I say watch it, because it is a lot of fun, and the entire thing, despite having all of these great heroes and some of them die and all this, that, and the other, is entirely stolen by Lex Luthor. He's just incredible. It's the other guy from 2.5 Men, the not Charlie Sheen guy.
Oh really? I know exactly who you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, Alan
Wow.
Cryer, is it?
It's definitely Cryer. It could be Alan Cryer, yeah.
It's not Barry Cryer.
That is the other name that was in my head, and I'm thinking it's definitely not Barry Cryer.
Because he got cast, and all of the CW fans were up in arms, because he played in Superman for the Return. The Quest for Peace. He
John
played Lex Luthor's nephew, who was basically the character he played in, I think it was Breakfast Club, one of those 80s.
Yeah.
theme
Oh
movies.
no, he was in Pretty in Pink.
Pretty in Pink, that was it. He's basically playing he's brought in to play the same character to try and sell tickets. It did not work. So everyone's like, this guy, he's one of the worst things in all of fucking Superman. Why the hell are we going to have it? And he even said, like, at the time, he's like, yeah, no, I wanted to redeem myself for that. And he's a fucking brilliant Lex Luthor. He's like, because I've seen some of 2.5 Men. It's not good. And, like, he's quite... I'm sure he's playing it. But, like, for a comedy character in a comedy show, I found him really slimy and unlikable. So when you transfer that across to Lex Luthor, and he's just this evil piece of shit, it really, really works. He did a really, really great job. And like, we've all forgiven him. We've all embraced him. We've all given him a massive collective hug and say, don't worry about Superman 4 anymore. You're more than redeemed.
Good.
But yeah, I'd say... yeah, if you're remotely interested, watch Crisis. If nothing else, you'll try to figure out what's going on and probably laugh at it. That's at worst. At best, you'll probably quite enjoy it as I did.
Hey.
Got a little off track there, but that's fine. That's what we're here for. We're here to chat and converse. And just one last thing on watching. One last thing on watching before we move on.
Yeah.
This afternoon, at a con... I don't know what it was, but Sony have officially availed that a sequel to Ghostbusters Afterlife is in the works. And I could not be happier because that movie lights my heart on fire. So now that they've done the establishing movie, so they've established who your new guys are, they've established where the old guys are, they've revamped the franchise. The next one can hopefully be bringing something new to the table, because while I certainly won't complain about the last one for reusing what it reused, because it had to do that to get the feels at the end the way it did, I am very much ready for something new, unless they want to go back and somehow bring back J.K. Simmons, Ivo Shandor, because we did not get enough of that guy. And J.K. Simmons, he always makes everything at least 10% better.
Yeah, he made the most of that role. I'll give him that.
He did. Got to lay there, be a bit creepy around some kids, and then die. It was awesome. Worth it. Worth his money. I love J.K. Simmons.
It's a living.
Yeah.
Who doesn't?
So what else have you fellows been up to? Jason, we'll go to you first.
Oh, nothing in my life. I'll take... Right, have you ever had this thing where... I went to a party the other night, and I hope... Please don't tell me I'm just like losing my mind or something. I had a group of friends that I knew on one side of me, and a group of friends that I knew on the other side of me, and I thought, I'll be the nice person to introduce. Do you know these people? No, they don't know me. I'll introduce you. I blanked on 2 people's names on either side. I could not think of it, and I had to sort of play that off because I had ideas of what their name. I know these people quite well, very well. In fact, I have their names pop up on my phone when their pictures pop up. I can't speak. See, I'm forgetting words now. It's just, and it's very embarrassing when you're looking someone in the face and you can't remember their name, and you're trying to point. This is Arthur, and all you can think in your mind is Eddie, and it's not Eddie, but you can't say Arthur. Yeah, that was very embarrassing, and thank you to the friend of mine who did not at all downplay it, but exactly highlighted the situation and pointed out exactly what I was doing wrong. So everybody knew that I don't care about these people.
Which friend pointed this out, Jason?
No, I'm not going to say. I forgot their name. Don't know. Arthur. But yeah, so that was quite annoying. Have you ever done anything like that? I don't know. So it's not. The party was fine, lovely, good, enjoyable night. But yeah, it's very.
I saw your dancing skills.
Blank. Oh right, here's another thing to talk about. I haven't seen my dancing skills. I do not like people taking films and pictures of me at parties or out anywhere. I like to live in a time where you can do what you want to do. Yeah, but I like a time where you can go out and have fun without worry. I will not do karaoke these days because I'm scared that someone's going to film it. Oh. I'd rather, if I'm performing, it's for the people in the room with that ambience. and should use the word ambiance there, with the people in the room at that moment. I don't really want that to keep cropping up every 6 months on my feed saying, "Do you remember this?" Particularly if I was bad. And I don't particularly want certain people who, like, I don't know. When I say certain people, I don't mean specific people, actually. I just mean, like, someone I haven't seen for 40 years.
Dude, you haven't got anything to worry about. Seriously, you're rocking it. You're doing really
I'm
good.
not... All right, fine, shush. But anyway, the point is... I have not seen this clip, so I don't know. But when I got married, my biggest fears were that someone was going to film the speech and the dance, the first dance. I didn't care about doing those things. I just didn't want evidence of them existing afterwards, which is a horrible thing to say. But as far as I know, no one did do it, so it's pretty good. Got away with it. I was so scared to do like public things like dancing and singing and speeches that if I'm going to cock it up, I'd much rather no one have evidence of it. And I don't know. I don't like the culture we live in where everything has to be filmed. I like it being a passing moment.
And of course,
if you want to see me dance, just come and see me perform. Don't.
Well,
don't
no. I
watch
was going to say I will be clipping the. I will be putting the clip here in the video if our audience wants to watch. So don't worry about that. You get to enjoy Jason's dancing here.
I also don't like it when people take like multiple photos of the same kind of pose. So it's like if you just put one up and just go like, here's a moment on your social media, that's fine. But when you've got 20 on, it's like, well, that's all I did clearly for like an hour. It's just pose for that picture. It's just me with a drink in my hand. I don't know. So I enjoy a party. I enjoy socialising. I also enjoy not being around people quite a lot. And I quite... yeah, I don't know. But so my biggest issues with socialising is just evidence. I'd much rather just not think about that, but that is what I'm thinking about quite often. So if I see someone out the corner of my eye with a camera pointed at me, that's all I'm thinking about. And I did watch a couple of those videos that appeared on social media, and I was like, can you see me? Can you see me? Because they're not really focused on me, but why are they still filming? Why is this video clip going on for like 3 minutes? It was only showing a little thing. Why are you still panning around? Don't get to me. That's how I watch things on that sort of thing. I don't like it. So, yeah, if you could just run anything by me before you put it up, that's great.
Well, even my wife commented on how good your ballroom skills were, so yeah.
Ballroom skills? Well, I take that as a compliment from, as I know you and her have both had training, whereas I, freestyled it.
You did freestyle it, but it looked very good.
I'm pretty sure I wasn't leading. I think I was being told, right, now do this!
Adam, what have you been up to?
My kids have been so busy. They've got a busy scheduled life, like social life, than I have. So,
quite right.
I've been doing up my house a lot, ready to sell. So I've been doing lots of rendering and painting and stuff like that. And then in between that, I had to drop my eldest son to 2 parties in the same day, and parents decided to do laser tag, so he got double laser tag on Saturday, 1 in the morning, 1 in the evening, and in between that he had football training.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, I know. And then in the evening he had drama, so that kind of almost crossed with the evening party, but it was just about in time, so we had to like rush. And then my youngest at the same time in the morning had it's like football for 2-year-olds basically. So yeah, he very much enjoys that. Other than that though, and going cinema, my life has been basically running my kids around and cramming in everything. Yeah. Oh, I did have a very nice 5.5 hours on the M25. That was very enjoyable.
Just kept going round, yeah.
Well, it was even worse than that. It was like car park, sitting still for like 4 of those hours without a screen in front of you. So it was like a drive-in without an actual cinema screen. So
To watch the people. Life's tapestry unfolded in front of you.
that was boring, bored, pissed off, swearing a lot, arguing a lot, and I think behind was laughing a lot. So yeah,
I'm going to be honest.
I was watching my screen on my phone, watching YouTube videos.
Oh, I would have enjoyed that. I like a bit of peace. If I wasn't like desperate to get somewhere, then I would have quite enjoyed that. As
What
in,
if you needed a pee?
Well, I've got bottles, don't I, in my car for that exact purpose. Yeah, I like a long drive, and I like being stuck in places where it's not my responsibility what happens next. So being in like a queue on the M25, as long as I wasn't desperate for a poo, I think I'd quite enjoy just like time to myself thinking. That's my like chilling out moment. And I'm just now picturing that scene from One Foot in the Grave where he gets stuck in the motorway and he's stuck behind, and all he can look in front of him is the horse's ass in the trailer in front of him. So could be entertaining.
That's my favourite episode of One Foot in the Grave.
Is it?
I love
Oh,
One Foot in
it's
the Grave.
fucking
So
hilarious. Just the 3 of them sat in a car going mad. It's perfect. Absolutely perfect. Well,
Sure, I was getting there.
Other than going to the cinema and stuff, I've not done a lot. I went over to Jason's to hang out with his roommate and my very good friend Alex, and we watched all 8 hours of WrestleMania with lots and lots of beers, and a wonderful time was had with us both. I got home somehow, I believe, due to the magic of Jason, for which I am greatly appreciative. Yeah, but other than that, not got much. Not been.
I
up
will
to
point
much.
out
Yeah.
when the last thing you said to me on that night was, "Do you want like easy directions or you got a sat nav?" And I said, "I'm alright. I got a sat nav." Did not have a sat nav.
I'd have known the
got home
directions.
fine. No, I knew roughly where I was heading. I got there. It's fine. Like I said, I enjoy a drive when when I haven't got to be somewhere on a certain time. I enjoy a nice little drive, so it was fun.
Excellent.
Getting out of your driveway, was it hard? I thought I was going to run over some plant pot or something. Anyway, yeah. Once I was on the open road, enjoyed it. Lots of fun.
Excellent. I did not enjoy, because I didn't sleep well, because I was absolutely tanked. We'd been drinking all day, so I didn't sleep well. And you know that thing where sometimes you know you need another like 3 hours sleep, but you know you're not getting back to sleep. So yeah, I woke up about 7 and I'm like, right, what have I got to do today? Okay, it's my sister's fella's birthday party tonight. That's in about 12 hours. So we've got plenty of time to, oh God, I've got to go to Sudbury and get my car. So I'm like, well, I know I'm not getting back to sleep. So I dragged my ass out of bed and I had to walk the 5 miles into town and then get a bus for an hour. And I don't know if I got a weird bus or if my bus driver went a bit loopy, but he didn't go around all the villages like they normally do, and he was speeding through some of the villages. So that actually made things more exciting and got me there about 20 minutes, got me to Sudbury about 20 minutes earlier than I expected. So I did appreciate that. And then I grabbed a burger in town, and then I grabbed my car and I sulkily drove home, and then I lay on my bed for about 2 hours listening to music and occasionally passing out because I felt like death. Then I got up, had another shower and went to the party, which was nice.
Did you enjoy the wrestling?
As much as one can enjoy WWE, it's a mixture. If you can just kind of let your brain go, for the most part you can enjoy it, but there's still some bits that just piss you off with just this frustrating nonsense they put into things, their bad booking. But no, we sat there, we drank for God knows how many hours, and we had a thoroughly nice time. It's not. I wouldn't sit and watch it. I wouldn't sit and watch all of that dead sober as I do AEW every week, which is actual good wrestling. But for what it was and for the amount of alcohol I had, it was a lovely time.
Speaking of which, the party I went to, I've been getting these Beer 52 boxes coming through every month.
Yeah.
Right.
Got rid of them.
By the way, well, the rule was bring your own drinks and also bring some for the table. So I thought, great, I can get rid of some of these. Brilliant. So I took a few boxes. I drank all the ones I took for myself, or most of them anyway. And then at the end of the night, they said, "Oh, there's loads to drink. Can you just take what you want?" So I pretty much came back with everything I took, apart from what I drank, plus more stuff. So I've got a full cupboard again.
The plan has failed.
Plus nibbles. I need to cancel that. I did try quickly, and it just took too long on my phone. So I'll have another go. I still appreciate the Beer 52. It's good stuff. I do not drink enough to warrant that stuff unless I'm going to go to a lot more parties. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'd have drank enough because it's only 8 cans a month. So I have a couple of beers on a Saturday sometimes. So I'd probably have drank it, but it's not. Again, it's the gamble of it. It's a great service. I love the presentation, and I enjoyed all but I think there's only one of the beers I didn't enjoy. But for 30 quid, that gamble is just, it's just, I don't like gambling. So I would rather go into a shop I know, and there's a nice place in town called Beautiful Beers, and I know everything in there is great, and I'd rather go in there and get the beer I want rather than just getting 8 every month. I've got to drink all 8 of these, and what if I'm not in the mood or whatever, because they're all kind of session beers, aren't they? They're not intended to be like 1, 2, 3, 4. You're supposed to taste and savor and enjoy them.
I guess so. I just drink them. The pretty colours and the funny names. It's the same way I treat any beer festival. It's like, oh, funny name. What's this? Cool picture.
That is absolutely how I rock a beer festival. That or anything tasting of coffee, which is normally terrible, but after a few, I forget. I remember how much I love coffee in other things. I don't drink coffee. I do quite like coffee, but I can't. It makes me paranoid. But I love things that are coffee flavoured. I always go for coffee flavoured beers, and they're always terrible because they don't match, and I never learn my lesson. Any other business, gentlemen?
I'm spent. I'm pooped.
I think that's us.
Well, the real word, the proper word that you need to remember, as we discussed earlier, is best month ever. Jason's favourite game of all time.
Yep.
The most memorable thing he's ever played. And
my memory's not good at the moment.
The fake phrase. Adam, you got anything?
Fake phrase. Trying to think something, Sonic. Can't.
Oh, how about Amy Rose?
There you go. Perfect.
I'm hoping she'll be in the next Sonic movie.
See, that's what I was hoping. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, this one was so crammed with characters, you probably couldn't have fit in Amy as well. But yeah, it definitely needs. If they're going to bring in Shadow, they definitely need to balance it out with a woman character, surely.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, let's not get dragged into talking about Sonic 2 again, because that was a wonderful movie. Say your goodbyes, gentlemen.
Goodbyes, gentlemen.
Always rely on you.
Leave us a like. Leave us a subscribe. Say hi in the comments. Don't hate us. Love us.